Now, before I get into the main topic of what's going on in the world of WWE, when I can just call it either Monday Night Sewage, Monday Night Crap, WWE Smack Shit, or whatever, I just want to go over a list of things that I find completely wrong with WWE, and brought to you by the announcement of today. Yeah. Alright, why don't we just get started? When I actually first examined WWE's weird bits of storyline, I noticed a couple of things. Mediocre wrestlers. Now, granted alone, there's about 2 wrestlers within the mediocre thing, which I like, but that's personal to me. I think they're cool in my opinion, John Cena and Santino Marella. That's personal though. Not saying that as a fact that they are the actual best wrestlers. Those are just two of some of my personally favorite wrestlers. Second problem. Storyline. Oh yeah. Stories could not get cheesier. You could obviously see what's going to happen and see the complete fake action. You can see the dialogue gets very crappy, very predictable, and just completely unbearable to listen or watch. Like, part of the story, back then you had Natalya, she was having gas problems. What? Oh, let's not also forget that, in case if any of you didn't watch the back then episodes of WWE back then, the anonymous general manager was Hornswoggle. Oh my gosh. Oh, but let's not stop there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's also get down, fast forward through where we have more of these other mediocre wrestlers, and then just Fandango, and then you have the Wyatt family. I'm sorry, but I'm not really a fan of Wyatt family. I find them kind of mediocre and just... Okay, what else can I throw in? The PG era. How could I not forget that one, huh? Yeah, can't curse, can't actually beat people up, can't actually wrestle. Last time I checked, when I was in Ozfest, I was about 15 years old. And I'm not trying to use this as justification, but when I was 15, I went to Ozfest where there was all the drinking, pot smoking, ladies showing their hoo-has in front of the TV, which I got a good look, and I turned out okay. Seriously, nothing bad ever happened to me there. So now with the PG rating, because of the McMahons, because, children are watching, boo fuckity who. I mean... I know I'm delayed on that shit, and I know I'm delayed when I'm about to say this. That another thing on my list that I want to point out, Kane, the devil's favorite fucking demon, becomes a corporate sellout. Yes, delayed, but a still big, utter disappointment right next to the Christmas episode where Santa got run over, if you remember that one, which was a huge fucking disappointment. Now, before I get into the next part, because this is one of the most disappointing things I like to point out, I just want to say for these wrestlers, I have always seen John Cena, Santino Marella, even though a lot of people see him as mediocre and they are annoyed of him, I actually like him, but that's just personal to me. CM Punk, Undertaker, Big Show, Goldberg, who has been one of also my favorite wrestlers ever in the whole wide world ever since I was a kid. So if you don't like that, take the complaints up my ass because the only one who gives a shit, or talk to my lawyer, Mr. I don't give a fucks. Or sue me on that part. But then I have other favorite wrestlers, and then my favorite divas like AJ Lee, the Bella Twins, and I can go on so forth from there. I respect and enjoy these wrestlers. Despite the crappy, mediocre, cheesy, off-tune and off-balanced storylines that they have. I don't mind the stories, but it's just to the point where you could just see these drastic changes coming from a mile away, and it's not going good for you. It's declining. But let's get into the most how can I just best describe this one? The most absolute shocking part that WWE has gone throughout many different routes in desperation for money since their stuff is declining. Apart from the Royal Rumble, which people even probably chanted and shouted, this is awful and this is boring. Either way, the votes on if they enjoyed the Royal Rumble or not, 15% of them said yes. But the 85% said no, they did not enjoy it. It was crap. It was utter stupidity. I'm sorry, it was utter stupidity. That's what I meant to say. Excuse me, I have a little bit of grammar issue. That's what we'll be talking about in my next video. But what really just gave me the red ass, and sorry Undertaker for taking that line, but what really just sets my blood, my heart, my brain, my whole entire feelings ablaze is the fact that WWE has now screwed CM Punk from Wrestlemania. Because Dave Batista makes his way back in, despite his absence ever since he said he quit when he was yelling out of the fucking wheelchair. Now ever since he comes back, and now after that short span of time of returning, he is now the #1 contender in just that short amount of time. That's like Sheamus being the shortest amount of time to become WWE champion within, what, a month? I could be wrong on that statistic there. But as soon as when Dave Batista gets back his shot of WWE contendership or being the WWE champion, it's just right around the corner as soon as when he comes back, despite how much he was never relevant to begin with ever since the day he walked out. See what I'm saying here? This is just like, and I respect The Rock, I respect John Cena, but I'm just saying as an example, it's like when The Rock comes back, challenges John Cena in WrestleMania. He makes one appearance, and then after all which, he comes back for that one WrestleMania, despite the fact he came back for the other one as well. But this is the example. On that WrestleMania, he beat John Cena. That's pretty fucking predictable right there, because a legend comes back himself, defeats John Cena, and then all of a sudden we know the predictable match. Now John Cena beats The Rock. That is how predictable the storyline is. That's how predictable anything is. Apart from the mediocre wrestlers. I mean, Fandango, for God's sakes. I mean, seriously, WWE, what the fuck have you guys done? You basically turned an empire that rose itself out of the fucking ground into the fucking sky, right at the very fucking tip of heaven, and now all of a sudden it crumbles down, and now your desperation to get this sort of fame, glory, and money back. And now, just resorting to the part of actually fining Brock Lesnar for something so typically predictable as ever. It's like Miz and R-Truth getting fined for that crap. But we can obviously notice they're going to come back. We obviously know that part. We obviously know that that's got to be part of the fucking storyline or something like that. Or maybe it's just a desperation for money. But to kick CM Punk out of his shot for glory on WrestleMania, as opposed to how much dedication, blood, sweat, guts, his soul. That's just metaphor, because I know a lot of people think differently and there's no such thing as hope. That's controversial part. What I'm just saying is all that dedication, time, effort, muscle, blood, sweat, guts, all the bruises, scratches, and punches and kicks that CM Punk has endured in order to get to this spot, and he's just kicked off as soon as the moment that Batista is now praised to be walking back in, and now he's cast aside. This is fucking horseshit. And you wonder why your company is suffering. Now, I'm just a fucking kid according to, I guess, the difference between how the corporation of WWE runs their standards, and me being, I would say a fan, but not anymore. But from a statistic-wise of me, like I've obviously said, being the bottom of the fucking totem pole, I mean, hell, I can't believe I'm fucking saying this. But I think TNA actually has a better chance of running the fucking company than the McMahons. And apart from Kane being a corporate fucking sellout, I don't know what's going on. And I do not blame CM Punk one damn bit for walking away from WWE. It's not going to change my mind about CM Punk because I respect CM Punk. I think he's a good wrestler. I think he's cool. I think he actually has a lot of talent. I like CM Punk as a wrestler. I think he's a good inspiration. Cool, he's straight edge. Cool. I'm just saying that's a good positive effect for people. Yes, he actually had a heel and he had a face moment, back to heel and back to face now. But that doesn't matter anymore. The fact of the matter is that WWE has screwed up so much, they are losing money, they are actually losing the reputation, but that's not going to matter to them. All that matters is as long as the company is running and they run things their way, they think with their little impudent minds, they're doing all these mediocre things to impress the kids. The more kids that watch this, the more easier it becomes. And I'm not saying this as some sort of conspiracy theorist because, as we can obviously tell, it's PG rating for a reason because there's kids watching around the world. Well, who fucking cares if kids watch it? Don't you ever think about, okay, how about this? Why don't we at least just put in the sign, the following content you're about to watch has strong fucking language like any fucking show would. But I'm not going to focus on that sort of thing about how, the following contains such and such because you should probably obviously know for a damn well, and that's probably not going to happen because the McMahons just seem to be so hell-bent on their own change and not listen to a damn thing about the opinions of where this company is going. Two things. The first thing I said was CM Punk being screwed out of this whole thing. Like I said, I don't blame him, and I think he's a lot better off from this company, and I do recommend the same thing for other wrestlers who win that as well, because this, right now, WWE has gone from the badass glory days of the Attitude Era into this little cesspool of kids' entertainment. I mean... oh my God. I don't know how this is just gonna... I gotta say, this fucking sucks. WWE sucks. I should have said that from the get-go. But damn, I mean, the McMahons, they screwed everything up. With Kane as the fucking sellout and all that shit, Devil's favorite demon. And let's not forget the New Age Outlaws. Short amount of time, and all of a sudden they become good champions as well. Holy shit. Now, before I end this off, I'm just gonna say a couple things here that I hope CM Punk is doing well. He does a lot better. And then the second part, WWE needs to get off their lazy ass and start doing things the hard way. The hard way that made this company the way it is. Because if they don't, the more they're going to be desperate and desperate and desperate enough in order to get more money. And that's the thing. What I think, it's just about money. So anyways, I'm Jasper Winbow, the Thrash Metal Guru. I have to say, CM Punk, if you are ever watching this, and I'm not saying that you are, the unlikely chance that you are watching this, I don't blame you one bit. Still respect you, and think you'd made a very good decision to leave a company that screwed you over. Anyways, good night, and stay tuned for my other video that will be coming out tonight too.